Awesome. Appreciate everybody being here. Well, coming off a bye week, a little bit of a funky bye week, just with going to a Thursday game. We just got done with our Wednesday practice, and it's been awesome. We had 2 heavy work days during the bye week. Had a little bit of time on the front end, had a little bit of time on the back end, and then we were able to get out recruiting a little bit, and then right back to it. So we were certainly excited to get back out on the field. Feels like Memphis was a really long time ago, but for us it was a matter of cleaning it up, taking the time to really be detailed out in the cleanup part, in addressing how we played, and being able to put it to bed while at the same time being able to learn and grow. And I told our guys, at the end of the day, you had every opportunity to win the game. We didn't win the game. And when you look at it, big picture, we're at November. We're playing incredibly meaningful football right now. And there's very few teams in the country, whatever the percentage is. I told them 20% of the country is playing meaningful football right now. We're in that 20%, and essentially detailed out what separates that 20% down to the 1% at the very end. And for us to be able to learn, grow, and continue to build is the biggest thing you can get out of it. Took me personally probably a solid 48 hours to snap out of it, and snapped out of it. And really the best thing you can do is get back out on the field, go back to work. And I will say it's a resilient group. It's a leadership-heavy team that we have right now, and I'll say that the leadership of the team has taken it by the horn. So we flipped the page. We were able to get a little bit ahead on UTSA. You know, UTSA coming off a really, really good win last Thursday. You know, Coach Traylor, if there's anybody in this league that I got so much respect for, is Jeff, and he's done it the right way. He's done it for a really long time. He's built that program very similar to us, I think, in a lot of ways, from not very good to winning conference titles and being a really, really, really physical, violent, fast football team. And they're a team that's had its ups and downs throughout the year. I think played their best football a week ago. And so for us, it's a huge challenge going in. Beyond fired up to be home, beyond fired up to be in front of our fans, and haven't forgotten that the last time we were at Ray J, there was 45,000 people. That place was rocking. It was electric. And I would hope and tell our students, our fan base, that that's the expectation, is that Thursday night that thing is rocking. Under the lights again, national TV again. And for us, it's the next step to be able to get to where we want to go, which is to be incredibly successful Thursday night. You look at this UTSA team offensively, I feel like everything starts with the Q. Veteran, played a ton of football a week ago, played lights out, and really has all year, completing close to 70% of his passes. 4 interceptions on the year, doesn't make dumb decisions, really takes care of the football. I think for them starts with the run game. The running back is truly one of the best in the country. You watch Robert Henry and what he's been able to do. He's almost at 1,000 through 8 weeks, but it's taken care of up front. Big O-line. Really good job at tight end for them, and that run game is really efficient, which sets up the RPO game, which sets up the vertical pass game. I think what's really impressive with what they do offensively is they take what the defense gives you, and you've got to be able to defend the entire field. It's triple option football in the run game in terms of the RPO game, and they do a really good job taking advantage of what you present to them. So really impressed watching them offensively. As they got going, it was really, really hard for them to get stopped last week. It'll be a huge challenge for our defense as we get back out there. And then defensively, man, that staff's been together forever. They're sound in what they do. They attack you a bunch of different ways. They force you to get rid of the ball. They try to affect the quarterback a bunch of different ways. And really big up front again. As impressive of a linebacker group as you've seen, and then on the back end play a bunch of guys, but scrappy, physical, will make you earn everything on the outside. I think a big challenge for us to be able to establish the run like we want to, and to be able to do in the pass game what we need to. They present a lot of different pictures out of the odd front, and you've got to be able to be really, really efficient, take care of the football. Special teams, I think similar to us, they play really hard. They put a lot on film that you got to defend in terms of fakes and bunts and all sorts of different things. You've got to be really sound in what you do. So for us coming off a bye week, I think as we prepare for a really good football team that's well coached, that's tough, that's physical, obviously huge for us to get a couple of days where we can get our bodies back to right to get into November here, be able to play our best football. Beyond anything else, I think as I talk about the opponent, the previous game and this UTSA game, this whole thing goes right back to being about us and who we are, our identity, and as we continue to build this program, for us to be able to continue to put our identity on display. We've been fortunate to be on national TV all year. We've been able to tell our story in a lot of different ways. We've had a bunch of ups. We've obviously are coming off a big time down. And I think the best teams, as you look through college football, are teams that are able to respond. And the response has to be positive. The response can't dwindle over from a week ago. And that's why I say, I think in a positive way for us, coming off a bye, we're able to flush it, learn, grow. And then again, talk about it being about us playing our best football, us being violent, us being efficient offensively, and then being detailed out in what we do. Because I think at the end of the day, right now, November, it's the detail, it's the physicality, it's the effort. Who can sustain a level of focus longer? And probably harder to do right now in college football than it's ever been. But if you can stay focused and detailed out longer, you'll have a chance to go compete at the end of November. So that's where we're trying to build to. I'm really excited about our team. I think the focus has been right. I think their approach has been right. I think they've taken it and learned and grown, and I'm super excited about our leadership, the steps that they've taken to demand that it's done the right way. And so I'll open it up to questions from there.
You never want to lose, obviously, and you mentioned a little longer to get over this one. The guys were hurting afterwards, obviously. But as you step away from it, is the kind of thing where you learn some lessons here, you got to get better to go through something like this, and you're going to end up better at the end because you had to go through this?
I think the adversity, and that word's used a lot, but I think the adversity or the down or the however you want to look at it, the losses, like that's inevitable. Like and we try to equate everything to life. I think we're still in that in the profession of teaching and growing young people. I think the down, the adversity, the loss, like that's inevitable in life. The response is either truly it's either your prison or it's your testimony. Like you can let it crumble you down, you can let it dwindle, you can let it lead to another negative, or you can respond. And when I say it's your testimony, it's your story. It's who you are as a human being. And for us as a team, it's who we are as a team. And that's why I think as important as anything else, like to your point, like you're saying, man, did you learn? If you didn't, shame on us, and now it becomes your prison. And that's been the challenge. And we've had to coach through it, teach through it. I think you have to understand, like as you build a culture, as you build a program, there is going to be ups and there's going to be downs, and the expectations that are in front of us are set by us. The expectations that we are supposed to go win that game were set because we have shown that we can win that game. And that's what we've been working towards for 3 years here, is having real, actual expectations. And so for us, it's critical that it doesn't become our prison. It's critical that it becomes our testimony, it becomes part of our story. And the challenge to our guys is, man, at the end of this whole thing, when it's all said and done, what is the story going to be? Man, every good story's got ups and it's got downs, and now there's a down. And you own it, you live with it, you grow. And now we got a chance to tell our story here, how we come out on the other end, and we'll see what it looks like. But ultimately, I think if you expect there to be this perfect euphoria, you're going to get blown up pretty quickly. And I understand that, done it long enough to know there's not going to be. I don't want to lose a game. And you fight like crazy and you work relentlessly hard to make sure you don't. But when you do now, what's the response? And I think the response is what defines you. It defines us as men. It defines our program. It defines who we are, where we're going, what we're about. And I think when you equate it to life, because we have to, because we got to teach, and I shouldn't say we got to, we get to teach, I think there's some really, really powerful stuff going on in that locker room.
Just talk about the buzz around Thursday. Now you've got Sports Center on campus coming to the Marshall Center. Just a little more buzz. Can you just kind of speak to that?
Yeah, I think it's been a really cool journey the entire year with the attention that's been put on our football program, therefore our university. I think there's been, just talked about telling a story. There's been so many stories that have been told. There's some really neat stories that have been told about our program, about the young guys in the program. This is kind of the next step. Obviously, really excited that you got Matt Berry and the crew coming, and they'll be able to highlight a bunch of things that are going on here. And what's going on here is some pretty cool stuff in terms of the stadium, this football complex. Like I said, I don't take for granted what the last time we were at Ray J really looked like. It's been a minute here that place looks like it did and was rocking like it did. And for us to be able to continue to showcase it, put the city of Tampa, put this university on display is absolutely huge. That's what major college football is about, and that's what we've worked incredibly hard to build. So we're excited for that.
Obviously, McCown the other night was unbelievable at his best, as you mentioned. What do you have to do to neutralize that? If he's at his best, how do you deal with him?
Yeah, I think like anybody else, anytime you play a high-end quarterback, which he is, and he's shown this going back to 2 years ago, coming in and playing, 7 games in 23, and then starting every game a year ago, and then obviously what he's done to this point. You got a veteran guy. It's one thing to be veteran, it's another to be really sharp, really poised, while also having a ton of game experience. There's no substitute for the game experience, but the biggest thing that stands out is he doesn't make mistakes. He won't put balls in places where they shouldn't go. He won't force things. He makes really good decisions in the run game. Like I said, what they do in the run game, he's got options on every play. He makes high-end decisions. So for us, it's the ability to take away the easy decisions and make them hard, and then be able to affect him. You got to be able to pressure him and force him to now make bad decisions. I think anytime you play a veteran quarterback, you've got to force the issue, and we've been really good at it at times. I would tell you the very last week in the fourth quarter, we were the opposite of good, which would be bad. And but for us to be able to make them uncomfortable and take away the easy decisions, and that's a variety of different things you can do. But we've got to make it hard on him. Or if he gets into a rhythm, you saw what happened a week ago for them.
Can you give us an update on Chaz Nimrod?
Yeah, so Chaz is doing really, really well. He's out here running, prepping. I think it'll be really, really close as we go into tomorrow and we go into Wednesday, like our Thursday and Friday. But he's pushing like crazy to get back. He's physically close. He's been mentally super in it. But our doctors, trainers have done an incredible job getting him back healthy. So it'll be really close. Our hope is that he's able to go.
There's a lot of craziness going on in college football all over the map, including your league. What do you make of your league, and just how spread out it is? And as we go into November, just so many things can still happen.
Yeah, we said at the beginning of the year, there's some really good football teams in the league. There's some really good coaches in the league. Man, like you go through week to week, and it's really impressive. Everybody's up their game in terms of what these rosters look like. The commitment to putting together really good staffs has been impressive. You don't get to watch just a ton of it, but as we've gone through our schedule, you go into this game and you're like, man, like trailer's still there, still the same staff. You know, the ability to retain staff through success has been impressive. But no, there's a bunch of teams playing really good football, and we're right there in terms of we got to go continue to perform against another really good football team here.
Did you see this happening? I mean, so many one-loss teams. Did you kind of see this kind of parity prevailing?
Man, Joey, I'd be lying to you if I told you I looked at it at the beginning and was trying to predict records. I really, you know me well enough. I'm literally, as last night, somebody will make a comment in a staff meeting about, and did you see what happened? I'm like, man, Saturday for us was a Monday.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I have no idea what happened. I know what happened with UTSA and Tulane Thursday night, but I don't, like, you don't get big picture until after the season, and you start to study people and you start to really look at it. But I guess I don't know. I know the people that we've played, because you obviously are getting the back end, and now that we're deep in the league play, you're seeing crossover on a bunch of people. But I guess I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it, but I knew going in, like you look as guys assemble rosters, and obviously you got coaches meetings and media days, so you're constantly in communication. But like I said, as schools in this league have upped the ante in terms of trying to be competitive and have put resources into it, you knew it was going to be really, really competitive. It's and you saw it early with the non-conference schedules and teams doing really well against other leagues, us included. We've got really, really good football being played in this league right now.
You mentioned a few weeks ago, you want somebody else besides Byron to be the leading rusher, and he was your leading rusher last time and had an unbelievable run. But Sam Franklin had a 73-yard run. Tavin Ward had a 60-yard run. You rushed for almost 300. Is the running game, and it's been that way for a few weeks now, is the running game coming together like you hoped it would overall?
I think we've found ways to run the football. That's always been our identity. I don't know that we, like you're saying, I don't know we go in saying, man, Byram, he should go for another hundo again this week, but he creates so much with his feet, and maybe I'll just come to grips that he's our leading rusher, and that's just what it is. But he's so dynamic with his feet and continues to make it easier to call a game because he can get you out of so many things. But I don't know. It's not strategic, I'm telling you. But he continues to just take games over with his feet at times, and he's gotten so much better throwing the football too. I mean, that's what you're hoping, is you got a guy that can do both, and it's hard to defend. But he's dynamic, so if he continues to do it, then he continues to do it. And I think a little bit of it has had to do with the fact that we really have played 3, at times 4 running backs to where they're kind of splitting the load. But I feel like each week one of those guys has separated himself as the hot hand, and that's kind of what we went with. But I'm excited of the growth in the running back room. I think Nakai's really coming into his own. That was really good for Sam's confidence to continue to go. Alvon has been banged up, and now he's healthy again, so I'm excited to see him get going again. But it still continues to not necessarily be the goal, but Byram kind of sets his own standard there.
Coach, you spoke to this a little bit before, but do you think that having this past week off has been more beneficial for preparing for UTSA, or would you prefer to maybe get back on the field right after Memphis?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. I don't really know what's better. I know you want to wipe it clean and you want to get back on the field. That's why I said earlier I was excited to get back out on the field last Wednesday and get going and start working on somebody else to kind of wipe it clean. I think from a physical standpoint and a mental standpoint for us, it was really big to be able to take some time to get healthy. I think anytime you can kind of catch your breath a little bit from a physical and mental standpoint for the players, I think it's huge. But I think it was just the right mix. We not truly 2 weeks off, but you got a week and a half. We've tried to do everything we can to use it to our advantage in that regard.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. See you Thursday night.
Yeah. Sean Christian's out here. You can shoot these two, or you can go shoot Christian now. Okay. Good. Christian, Sean's on his way out. Thank you. Of course. All right. Safety Tavin Ward, third on the team in tackles.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Good question, Tavin.
So what do you think, what are your impressions of UTSA's offense?
Right. They're a pretty good team. Why they've been so inconsistent, we don't know. But on tape, when you watch them, they're definitely a tough bunch, and they have a great football club over there.
What's your impressions of their quarterback? I'm sure you watched the game the other night.
Yeah, for sure. He's a really good quarterback. The thing that I've been trying to flip in my head is the lefty. You know, we've been facing already. So now everything going to our right, his left, that's been something I got to get used to. It's kind of tough getting a look in practice since all of our quarterbacks are right-handed. But, mentally flipping that switch. But I think he's a really good player.
Is that really kind of an adjustment you have to make to a left-handed quarterback?
Yes, sir, it is for sure.
Really? What's the biggest adjustment, the biggest thing you got to do?
For me, it's like, say you get a boot action, you're used to getting routes going to the quarterback's right.
Yeah.
Now it's going to the left. So like trying to flip that and mentally preparing yourself to break to your right now instead of to your left is kind of the hardest part to do.
Have you played against a lot of left-handed quarterbacks?
I have not actually. I'm not even sure when the last time I faced a left-handed quarterback.
Okay. What about, as you look back on the Memphis game, the fourth quarter, what do you have to clean up from that?
Right. I mean, obviously the fourth quarter is something that we all wish we can get back. We have to go and finish games like that. We can't give our opponents, the edge like that on us. Defensively, we just have to stay aggressive. And there were like a couple of busted coverages that we just can't happen. Miscommunication is where it really started at. So last week and this week, we've been like taking upon ourselves to over-communicate and overemphasize, not letting somebody misunderstand you. So just getting out the communication so we don't have those busted coverages.
What do you think? I mean, I know you guys are focused on yourselves and your own process, and you should be, but there's like 5 or 6 one-loss teams in this league. It's become a very tough league. What's your impressions of it?
Right. It's a very competitive league, coming from where it used to be, where it was like 1 or 2 teams. But now there are a couple of good teams in the league, and, it's not something that you can take for granted. We're happy to be one of those teams, of course. But like you said, the focus is really on us and how we can continue to prepare ourselves. We can't really worry about everybody else's schedule and who they have to face. We just have to worry about how we can make it the best for us.
Well, as a team, your goals are still intact. You can still win the conference. You can still go to the playoffs. You're in November, you're playing meaningful football. What's that mean to you?
That means everything, because I was here whenever it was on the other side of it. So seeing how to just stick to your process and stick to the plan that the coaches have can really change the outcome of a year for you. It's a great feeling being on the other side of it now, but just going back to work and like I said, focusing on us and just playing every game like, it's the last game. Like we can't go in there and be like, oh, we can still go to the conference championship. We can go to the playoffs. Like, of course, that's in the front of our head. But at the end of the day, we still have to focus on the next 4 games that we have before we even get there.
Thank you, Tavin.
Of course. Thank you.
Mudia. Wide receiver Mudia Reuben. 12 catches in the last 4 games. One of the 4 wide receivers with 20 or more catches on the year. Any questions?
Well, as you look at UTSA, what's their defense say to you?
When I look at UTSA, what does their defense say to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely a hard-coached group of guys. You can tell that they're disciplined. You can tell that they're aggressive. It's been fun going into them and game planning this week just because it gives us a chance to open up our playbook, both in the run game and in the pass game. But it'll be a great challenge for us on offense and us as receivers especially.
I asked you the same question I asked your defensive guy. You're in November. You're playing meaningful football. Your goals are intact. You can win the conference. You can go to the playoffs. What's that mean to you?
Yeah, for me, it means a lot. When I first came here, a lot of people were like, why South Florida? Why South Florida? Why South Florida? And it was something a little deeper that I couldn't explain, just the feeling of being here, being around AG and being around the team on my visit. But now that everything's actually came to fruition and I'm living it, it's one thing, it means a lot. Obviously going forward, we have everything in the back of our heads as far as conference, as far as just winning games. But going forward, we're like, we need to beat UTSA, we need to put points up, and then we need to keep that going week to week.
So what is it about this place that is special to you?
Yeah, for me, I would say the brotherhood. Coach AG, he does a good job of making us the main stature. So it's us in the middle of everything. You know, we're not looking outside for naysayers. We're not looking outside to see what media is saying. It's really just us. And I think that goes through and through with everyone on the team. As receivers, we're a tightly knit group, and we're a group that also has a couple of transfers. But even me as a transfer, I've been able to come in and seamlessly transition into that with a brotherhood, and it's just a good group of friends, guys that I can be around whether in or out of football, and it carries on to the field.
Offensively, you guys are one of the top in the nation in yards and points per game. How much fun is it to play in this type of offensive system?
Yeah, it's fun for sure. You know, it's almost like high school again, where you're just out there playing football. You know, there's not too much to think about. They put us in really good situations to get explosive plays and to show what we can do on the field. So as a receiver especially, you got to love that. You know, you got to love when the coach trusts you guys and wants to put the ball in you guys' hands. And then especially what we have in our backfield. We have a crazy running back room that we can trust at any point. And having a good run game, I think, is the center and the base of any football team. So with that run game, we're able to build off of them, and Byram can make things work on his feet, make things work in our hands. So it's been a good opportunity, all in all, to just be able to play all levels of the game, run, pass, block, and regardless of which, it's fun and celebrating in the end zone.
Mudia, what is the support from the student section and from the school as a whole?
Yeah, it's good. You know, I came from a school where we didn't have too many fans. You know, we didn't have too many fans in our stadium for home games, and you get back on campus after the game and it'd be like, wait, did you guys play a game? So, you know, here it means a lot. Just one, being able to run out and we hear a large group of people cheering for us. You know, we all come out, we run in the end zone, and we get ready for our prayer. But then looking up from our prayer and being able to see the student section and all the students that are actually here for us, you know, they make sacrifices themselves to be able to be on this campus and to be able to come to our games. So it doesn't go under mind at all.
Do they recognize you on campus?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. The MSC, you know, maybe not me, but some of these other guys for sure. It's like, I'll be going to lunch with like Keyshawn or Byron or any of those guys, and there's students that are like, hey, can I grab a picture or whatever. So that's also something that's a little new, just being on a campus where football is cared about and valued by not just students, but alumni and everyone around.
Okay, thank you.
Smooth. Thank you, guys.